Hot mic. Here we go.
So we know that Captain Spencer...
Oh, I deleted everything. We're starting over.
Welcome back to New Dexter. Who dis?
Who dis?
We are getting into Dexter Original Sin, episode 9, which is Blood Drive.
Yes, blood drive, a little blood. I wonder if this is where we see the ice truck for the first time. Blood drive. Driving cars. He's driving a boat. Slice of pie.
Possibly. We know that Captain Spencer.
Captain Spencer's been revealed.
Yep.
Without a shadow of a doubt. They literally showed him take his mask off with his kid on the ground. So no more like woo.
Yep,
so,
he's planting evidence other places, right? Well, the whole shootout happens, so we're going to find out, I guess, what his motive is, hopefully.
I hope so. The thing I haven't looked at, let's see if I can see real quick, is how many episodes is this season meant to be? Just because it does look like there's another one coming out on Valentine's Day, so we're not done yet at the very least. So episode 9. Yeah, I'm stoked on this one too to see who it all is. We're getting the Brian Moser teases.
A lot of Brian Moser. Really interested as to like really what's happening overall with Dexter. Like is this whole season or is the entire show really going to be Dexter honing in his like his career field and how he decides to kill, or his little his little traits? Like, we are seeing that he's getting more familiar with the boat. He and Deb are looking down into the water. What you drop in there is lost forever, goes into the ocean. So we're getting those kind of hints. But I'm wondering, like, if this is kind of like what the whole show is going to be exactly, or if it's going to like get to anything else. If he's going to like get straight into like his rhythm of killing. Or are you talking
about the next season or this season? Because this season's almost over.
Yeah, this one's almost over. I'm just wondering where it's leading to overall, like the show.
Because I feel like at the end of this season, we're going to have him do his first perfect kill.
Okay.
I feel like that will be it. He did it. That is it. That is how I do it. This is the way I do this now. And I feel like next season will be the beginning of basically what the old Dexter was. The monster of the year with the other little cases in between, which we've already got them doing that, but a lot of the focus is on him learning. I think we're going to get more into what Dexter original was like as the series progresses. That's my hunch.
Yeah. But I'm into it. Let's see what this one's all about.
Thank you for coming through and killing it. Let's go. Let's stab it. Let's pick up.
What?
Ice pick.
Okay. That was a bad one. So it is interesting. We're seeing a lot more development with Brian.
Yeah, there's a lot of Brian in this one.
Yeah, which I always liked because I thought he was a fascinating character in like the original series. But we see him playing bingo with an older lady with a large birthmark on her face, and then we see that in the flashbacks, she's there with Harry and Harry's wife, trying to see, like, as a social worker, like, hey, can you take both of these kids? And obviously we know that's not the case. He doesn't take both kids. No. LaGuardia is hot on his trail as to why are you interested in this kid, right? So it's an interesting development.
Yeah, trying to keep them separated from the files and all that. Because I do remember that in season 1. That, they talk about that. Why is there no mention of this and that? Well, your father had me destroy it.
Right.
And like that comes out in the original series. So yeah, this all makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to see it play out this way. And like, yeah, I think it feels like we're seeing Brian now. We visually have been introduced to him.
Yep.
Next to the lady at bingo. And I think that what we're seeing here is why he's hunting out everyone. Like they said that one of the first victims was a call girl. Mm-hmm. Wasn't his mom a call girl? And that's how she ended up as a CI? I thought she was a streetwalker. And that was... But... So I wonder if that turns out to be like associated to his mom, a friend of, or something like that as we get deeper. Because they already showed that one of the victims was a nurse from when he was in the hospital.
Yep.
And now there's this is the woman who's in charge of his custody. So likely he blames her for being split up from Dexter. And so, yeah, we're going to find her dead here in a minute.
Sure. And interesting to see the flashbacks of what the kids remember in the in the
in the tub?
Yeah.
That big moving crate?
Yep. I mean, Dexter clearly remembers the blood. You know, they zoom in on his eye, his pupil. But then it's really Brian that's the one that remembers seeing the mom in pieces.
Yep.
So that's interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we finished it.
And now there's a whole lot going on. We got Brian, who's really upset at the social worker, and he does what he does. All right.
Well, let's talk about Brian for a second.
Okay.
He is fully established in here now. This is him. This is his character. He's going to be here. We're watching his side of things. I can't even remember if we were recording or not, but I remember mentioning to you, it's kind of interesting they're utilizing this as a way maybe to tell Brian's story, because we only got to know him for one season last iteration.
Yeah.
And we always felt like there was more there because it was his brother, right? So much so that they call back to him throughout the entire series, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it is cool that there's their opportunity to delve in and tell that story a little bit more, because realistically you had 6 years of him being a serial killer before he's caught. That's story, right?
Yeah.
But how much of the story... We already see that Brian knows Dexter, knows where he is, knows what he does, knows how to find him.
Yeah.
Harry knows that Moser's a serial killer, knows these are his victims. It's weird that in this bubble right now, we've established so much more than was ever established with what they knew beforehand, that I think now we're definitely skating on that thin ice of are we about to tip it into a way of so everybody knew everything years before they admitted it? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Harry's also keeping all of this from Dexter, right? And Dexter even points out that, in this iteration, the first time my dad lied to me, I knew. He just obviously didn't know what that meant, right? What it was about.
For sure.
So, but yeah, I am liking just seeing Brian, just because I thought he was one of the more fascinating characters in the original series. So I am I'm glad that they've done a deep dive into him.
Do you remember Harry's death?
He was in the hospital, right? Dexter always said it was, him who killed him, his heart attack. It was just all this guilt knowing what Dexter is.
But here's the weird bit too, and there's nothing you can do about it, I suppose, except for that actor still exists. We have Christian Slater playing Dexter's young dad.
Yes.
We have an actor that played Dexter's dad 6 years later and is in every single way completely different. You know what I mean? So does he age fucking 20 years? You know what I mean?
I was noticing that about everyone, honestly. I noticed that about,
Dolores.
Dolores, she is much younger than I would think they should have played her. I think, in the original series, she looks like she's retirement age, right? So really, she should be in her, late 40s.
She should be still close to retirement
50s.
age. This is only 6 years away.
Right, she should be in her late 50s, right? She shouldn't be, she looks like she's in her, mid 40s, maybe. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of the ages are just, so far back that I was like, wait a minute. And obviously, young Dexter, I think, looks way too old in this one. He looks like he's, 7, and he's jumping on his mom. I was like, whoa, he's too big. He's
a big kid.
And he's remembering so much that I'm even in the flashbacks, I'm I think it's just, he's a little older than I think he should be. And I think, a lot of that probably goes to, you want kids to say certain lines, but I don't think it's always necessary, especially, in this story.
I don't know. It is weird. It does feel like a lot of the aging stuff is weird. Because the more I think about how it's a 6-year difference.
Yeah.
You kind of go I guess you could make the argument if you look at a president when he enters versus when he leaves. But, you're talking about 8 years there.
Yeah.
Everyone? You know what I mean? Everyone ages 20 years between this and then. That's
at least Deb, they've established she's 17 here. She looks young enough to be almost graduating, right? They've really done it interesting.
She's 23 when she enters the force?
Yes. She's working, she's working in Vice.
I guess right out of high school,
right?
She
So
must
she's
have gets
a
out of high
newer-
school and go straight into the police force.
Yeah, and we see that she's getting influenced here, right? She's meeting these strong women in law enforcement, which is cool to see her interest there because we know it's not going well for her, in school or anywhere else. And so, yeah, I think it's just interesting the age differences that we are noticing, and I hope that it's just us like really digging in and not like everyone noticing.
Yeah.
Because I think we may just be digging in the weeds here.
Yeah, I think we are being a little hard on it, but at the same time, there is a certain, like, because I'm trying to make sense of a lot of this, there is a time space that we have that's identifiable. Like you said, Dexter starts with, I started here 6 years ago.
Yes.
6 years on the job, X, Y, Z. So we know there's only a 6-year difference, and somehow it looks like 20 years away.
Yeah, because I'm like, I agree, because in 6 years, you can't have Christian Slater, look like maybe 50, and now 6 years later, he looks retirement age.
He's retiring. Wasn't Harry
70.
supposed to be?
Yeah.
Wasn't Harry supposed to be on the verge of retirement?
Yeah. So
yeah, like here we have 52-year-old, and then he's 65 in 6 years. Like it's a bit rough.
And I don't recall, but I wouldn't be shocked if Harry was one of the characters that's been on for more than 20 years, right? So he's like, could have been on the force for 30 years. Like I feel like, like Harry looks older in original series than Slater here, which I don't know. It's just a little interesting.
We went young Sheldon when I don't think we had to go back that far for casting. I mean,
that's true.
We went as far back as like, well, here they are as babies.
Yeah.
But remember, this is only 6 years away. It was only 6 years ago. So it's kind of like, man. Yeah, because I kept thinking that too. I was like, man, are they going to actually kill Christian Slater here? Mm. And that's how the voice of Harry becoming his thing, becomes a thing. But then I realized, I was like, wait.
No.
He doesn't die.
No, he doesn't die. No,
and Christian Slater can't die.
He can't, yeah.
Because then that would be the iteration that we would see of Harry.
Right. And
so he has to get old.
Yes, Harry has to get old.
It's just the casting at this point has become to me a little hard to figure out time frames, because now I'm getting confused by stuff, because I'm going like, that doesn't make sense if it was like in 4 years it's different, 5 years later it's different, 6 years different. Like
so we're jumping around a lot when it comes to the timing, but maybe we weren't supposed to read into it. I don't know. But I am liking the Brian story, and I did find the scene with Dexter, getting Captain on his table and then like letting him go was really confusing to me. Like, I get it, there's a kid in trouble, but there were so many things about that setup that I was questioning. Like, Captain just walks into this arcade that is seemingly unlocked. So these public places, I'm just really confused about, because I feel like there's just so much risk with that.
Yeah, and the other thing, the public arcade is crazy. The other one was like a fucking bowling alley or something.
Yeah.
Like, the idea that he's using these ridiculously public places does seem bizarre to me. Because then, how much control do you have over that? I mean, you do have some, right? Yeah, it is warehouses. Do you have more control there versus in a residential area? Maybe, right? Like, he could scream if you had a neighbor, right? Here's an arcade that's essentially in the warehouse district with all the other businesses closed. Probably could get away with more. So maybe, but there's a lot of factors in there that I guess maybe just as being like true crime nerds that were like, a little more detail on how he got access to the arcade, please. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably on us. But.
And I'm also just not really sure why he would like go for the Captain unmasked, right? Because if you knew you were already going to let him go.
I don't think he did. I don't think it occurred to Dexter that he could get the whereabouts of the kid until the detective said it, which also makes Dexter a little dumb. But sometimes he can be dumb, so I'm going to let it slide, as he was still
figuring it out,
hyped on adrenaline, right? So it was weird that he let him go, but it made sense why he would, but it was also kind of dumb that he did, because now you're relying on the belief that he's definitely going directly to his child and not definitely going directly into a hospital with his severed finger.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Will he? All he has to do, realistically, is go straight to the hospital with his finger, with the things, and said, oh my God, Dexter just attacked me. He's actually right behind me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense that he would I don't know.
Yeah, that also threw me off because I was like, there's a lot of risk there. Like, you are just hoping that he's going back home. Like, you could very well be wrong.
Or you're hoping he's not going home, right? Because we already know that the kid's not in his home. So it's like,
right.
You're hoping he's going directly to the kid.
To the place, right?
Not going home, not going to the hospital, not going to the police precinct, not going for help, not going to get back up. Like, these are a lot of hopes that you have for him. And this is probably the first time, realistically, even as a viewer, that I'm looking at it thinking Dexter doesn't have enough evidence for this. He has not proven that this guy has done anything but cut his kid's finger off, which makes him an asshole, but doesn't make him a murderer yet, right? Because he also believes that the kid's alive. The idea that the first kid being dead, being linked to the other one as like suspicion, yes, but does he have any actual evidence of that kid being with this guy? And the answer is no, because he hasn't figured out where they're even holding him yet.
And he also didn't admit it. And
he didn't admit it.
That is the other thing that's like, well, are you 100%? Because
he didn't admit to any of it. Even when he said, is that the noise your son made when you cut his finger off? He didn't say anything there. Yeah. So he's not admitted. He's not given up anything. And the only evidence he has, realistically, although not good, is a little blood splatter on the outside of a box, a fingerprint on a shopping bag that carried a jersey to the building anyways, which you already knew. You watched him hold it. You didn't need to pull the print.
Right.
And he was, so it's like all he did was hand over a jersey, for all you know.
Yeah.
He's part of the problem, right? He could be in distress. He could even be, theoretically, it could have been a part of the ransom thing, right? We're going to mail this to you, go plan it on them, or we're going to kill your kid, right? Oh my God, as a panicked parent, you do that shit, right? Like, there's still a lot of ways to talk out of it because he doesn't have a body. He doesn't have evidence at all for this one. So to me, to even let him out after that too is like, not only did you show your hand, you had nothing.
Yeah.
And the guy knows it and he gave you nothing. Like, fuck, I don't know if that's supposed to be part of it or not, but that's really where I'm coming from. And the next one is like, this could turn around in a way where I suddenly don't completely believe that Captain Spencer killed all the other people. Or killed the other kid.
I mean, very well could have, like, given the kid to someone else and told them to kill. Like, there's a lot of possibilities. Yeah. I think.
Exactly. So this was Dexter's shoddiest work as far as confirmed killer.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do like Dexter building more trust with his coworkers, like the officer who said, hey, I'm HIV, or I was exposed, right? I'm getting test results. I don't want to donate blood. And Dexter just donates his own. Like, I thought that was really cool. And he didn't have to do that, right? Yeah. But he chooses to.
Dexter is a good guy. That's the whole story about Dexter. Right. Everything he's going to show you is that he's a good guy.
Right.
He's the serial killer with the heart of gold, right?
Right.
The moral code is everything. The killer of the evils.
Right.
You know? And so, it's another instance of like, look, he's a good guy.
Yeah. And I'm really interested to see where they're gonna go next. I mean, how is this gonna shake out? Because it's looking real messy, this last scene. But really enjoying the series so far. I mean, we are pretty close. We're pretty close to finishing it. So let us know what you guys think, though.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Are they going too far with the Brian stuff? Where's the line? Because that's, to me, where I'm trying to find out. Like, I thought they were really doing a good job of teasing enough to where nerds like us and friends I've got that we talk about it with, too, all came to the same conclusion. Obviously, we're going down the Ice Pick Killer. We're going Brian. I thought they were doing such a good job of teasing it that we all knew. Yeah. But now they've just put it all out there. So now I go, okay, well, now
you have to talk about it.
Now you have to talk about it, and you have to deal with it in such a way that gives you 6 more years of questions.
Yes.
Like, that's the big thing that's, like, blowing me up is, like, not only do they look so young, it looks like 30 years ago.
Yes.
But it's also so far out that it's 6 years later before any of the stuff starts to come together.
Yeah.
So you can't be solving all these crimes and then saying, and then we'll wait for 6 years.
Yeah, I was surprised that Harry has already figured it out. Like, that to me was really, like, well, I don't know if that was necessary for him to know, hey, like, it's one thing to say, like, oh, that's crazy. That's, he's in some of these pictures, but for him to connect the dots that he's the killer, I feel like is a bit.
Finding him in all the pictures after he's determined he's the killer, and then to say that he's our perp, yeah, he definitely is all like, oh, here he is and all of them. Also, it's a little weird for It's so fucking funny. It's an Eminem song. I'm a green hat with an orange bill. There's the tallest guy in the entire fucking world is in the back with a bright orange Miami hat in every single one of your crime photos, and no one said, that's a bit weird, right? This guy's been to all these? You know what I mean? Because they look for stuff like that. That's part of serial killer mentality is they return to the crimes.
Oh, that's, yeah.
A lot of people will actually have their forensic photographers take pictures of any crowds they gather.
Yep.
In case.
Yes, yep.
So, like, what the fuck? He's just now going, wait? I don't know. So it's just a little bit, that's a little weird. That's what I'm saying. They're starting to toe the line on pushing Brian so far that we go, well, now season 1 doesn't make sense. Yeah. And why would we start something that makes the rest of what we've enjoyed for so long suddenly make no sense? Yeah. You know?
Well, but yeah, let us know what you guys think. We will catch the next episode.
Next episode's on Valentine's Day. What?
So romantic.
It is. So remember I remember we did an ice cream once where I put little red droplets on it for a little Dexter night.
Yes, you did.
But I don't think that was like for Valentine's Day. I think it was for a premiere thing.
It was for one of our Dexter things. But
yeah, so now for Valentine's Day we're going to have like a
ice cream with little red drops.
Yeah, some sort of murderous, killery, you know. And Yeah. Figure it out.
Thanks for checking us out. Let us know what you guys think of these episodes of Dexter, Original Sin, just overall.
No.
We're digging it.
Thanks for tuning in, killers.
Taking a stab at it.